Hey there, thanks for watching. My name is Christiana and my channel is The Well-Behaved Wallet, where my mission is to love the life I have while building the life of my dreams. Today I'm coming at you with a video of my natural remedies for getting over the cold or the flu or some allergies. I feel particularly well qualified to speak on this because I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I am getting over sort of some allergies, a cold, the beginnings of something nasty, and I thought this would be a perfect topic to talk about because I have been using almost all of these tips and they've been working pretty well, so I feel the need to share them with you. So tip number one, this is huge, and I don't know, you need to be a little bit brave to do this, but this is hands down the most successful, effective remedy that I have. It's free and it's natural. Again, you need to be a little bit brave. So that is to gargle with salt water, or if you're extra brave, to use the neti pot or snort system. Now, bear with me here. I know it sounds a little bit wacky, but I'll kind of explain, and I'll tell you how I heard about it too. So when I was in like grade school, I was in 8th grade. I used to babysit for a family that was they were very like they were dancers, so they were very like progressive. The dad was a filmmaker, the mom was a dance teacher, and they were very into natural remedies and health. And the mom was not feeling well, and she mentioned how she got over it was she snorted some salt water, and I was like, what? Like, what is this? Do tell. So what she would do is just take, you can use a neti pot if you want, but the way that she told me how to do it is a little bit simpler. You just take some salt water, and it's tough to get the consistency right. It should taste like seawater, like water from the ocean. So I usually find that it's like a teaspoon of salt to a cup of water, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'll boil the water to dissolve the salt, and then put in some cold water. So I'll make like a salt water concentrate, and then add cold water to make it room temperature. So it shouldn't be too hot, and it shouldn't be too cold. And then what I do is I put a towel around my front, and then I put some water in the palm of my hand. I inhale through my nose. You have to kind of hold your breath. It's like swimming, right, in the ocean. I inhale through my nose. I let it run down through my throat, and then when it runs out, you just kind of like spit the water out. And again, you got to be really brave to do this. And the reason why it is so effective, and this is for when you get that like tickle in the back of your throat and you know something's like brewing back there. Inhaling the salt water in the back of your like nasal passages, your nasal cavity, will inhibit the growth of bacteria. So it will deal with that sort of like fuzzy, itchy tickle feeling before it becomes anything bigger, and it has a chance to get even more infected. This is something that's been backed, science backed, by the Mayo Clinic, by numerous online sources. So it is kind of crunchy and natural-ish, but it's also backed by reputable science. So that's the super brave thing to do if you're going to snort the water, or use a neti pot. If you use a neti pot, I think you pour it in. I've never used one, so I don't know. You pour it in one nostril and then let it run out the other. I don't know. I've always just done the snorting method. So that's if you're extra brave. But if you're just if you're like sort of medium brave, you just gargle the salt water, and that's enough to reach the back of your throat, and again, kill any bacteria that may be germinating back there, that may be harbored back there. So gargling is another thing you can do that will kind of have the same effects. I actually just did the snort method yesterday, and today I did it before I went to bed, and I felt a lot better when I woke up. I still had kind of a lingering sort of huskiness, as you can tell from my voice, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it was last night. So again, I cannot recommend this tip highly enough. Tip number 2 is just to sleep, and this can sometimes be the most challenging thing to do because if you're anything like me, you're busy and you've got a billion things going on, and sometimes you just get caught up in like a Netflix or Amazon Prime binge watching session, and you don't want to go to sleep. You want to like relax and unwind, but sleep is the number one best cure naturally for any type of like cold or flu or feeling kind of gross situation. So sleep as a way to care for yourself and as a natural free remedy to get rid of anything that might be ailing you. Tip number 3 is apple cider vinegar and honey, or just apple cider vinegar. Now, I know this can seem a little bit sort of natural hippie as well, but it works for me, and I can't say anything else other than that. I've grown up with that. My mom was a big fan of apple cider vinegar, and we do get the organic, natural, unprocessed, unfiltered vinegar with the mother in it, and that's sort of a bacterial strain, a positive probiotic bacterial strain with like a ton of health benefits. And I know this is again one of those kookier like health remedy things, but all I can say is that it works. And I did this last night, and it helped break through whatever sort of nastiness was brewing in the back of my throat as well. And I can't say enough good things about it. It's great for maintaining your weight. It's good for knocking out anything that might be, that any type of sickness that's brewing. It gives me more energy. I mean, people have said they're all these health benefits that are touted, and science is kind of on the fence about whether or not it's super effective, but I can just say from my own experience that it works really well, so give it a try. Tip number 4 is to hydrate. We've all heard that before. Drink plenty of fluids if you're sick. And I decided to look it up. I wondered what the actual benefits are of hydrating. Because I know that it's great to stay hydrated, but I wondered what the science-backed benefits of hydration are. So especially when you're sick, there are 3 main reasons why you want to stay hydrated. Number 1, it will ease your immediate symptoms. If you've got a dry throat or scratchy throat, if you're feeling sluggish or tired, or if you're kind of generally run down, hydrating will help pick you up and give you an immediate boost. Number 2, it's going to return any fluids that are lost if you're sweating or kind of if your body's trying to fight off those symptoms by raising your temperature. Hydration will return any fluids that you are losing. And number 3, especially during the drier, cooler months when people tend to get sick more often, hydration will help return that moisture to your body and your skin. So there are definite science-backed research to help support the idea of hydrating. Tip number 5 is to watch the foods that you're eating if you're feeling run down. If you're really sick, you're not going to want to eat anything because all of your energy is focused on rebuilding and fighting off whatever sickness you have. But if you're kind of in that middle, like you don't really feel well, but you want to eat something, and I know that feeling really well, the best thing to eat is something like a vegetable that will give you that nutritional uplift as well as being soothing to the immediate symptoms that you're feeling. Because I'm someone that feels better when I eat, so when I'm feeling just kind of like not really seriously sick, but just kind of unwell, I just want to eat. So something that I've started doing is keeping cut up vegetables in the fridge ready to go, so I have something to grab on the go. And I've been loving things like cauliflower has felt really good, carrots, grape tomatoes, anything you'd find in like a crudité appetizer platter. I like try to keep that for myself in the fridge, and that's been working really well. I've been loving the cauliflower lately, and that's been a great sort of feel better comfort food on the healthier side. Tip number 6 is emergency. These little packets have 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and I usually try to stock up at the beginning of the cold season, like right at that turn of fall and winter. And you can get the vitamin C from things like oranges, but I find that this emergency has the same amount or more of vitamin C and less sugar. So for me, that's a win. They're not super cheap, but they're not really expensive. And they're a great head it off at the pass, stop a cold from getting worse, or help you to feel better. And it's more bioavailable, I feel, than taking supplements. It's immediately absorbed into your bloodstream. So that's definitely a great weapon to help you feel better. Tip number 7 is to exercise. Now, I'm not talking about like going on a full out like boot camp or anything like super intense, like no running, no marathons when you're not feeling well. But any kind of like light walking or light yoga will help get your blood flowing and help your body to start marshaling its natural defenses to help you feel better. Number 8 is a little bit unconventional, and I'm not super convinced of this, but it's worked for a lot of friends that I've had, surprisingly. So tip number 8 is to take a bath with some ginger in it, either raw or like actually the spice that you cook with. Ginger, I know it's kind of, again, unconventional, but people swear by it because I think what happens is the natural sort of fiery properties of that spice help sweat out or sort of expel any toxins or any sort of viruses or bacteria that you're fighting off, and will help you eventually heal faster. So, I don't know, give it a try, a ginger bath. Number 9 is a classic, and that is some garlic. Now, I come from a long line of people that swear by garlic soup for when you're feeling sick. My grandmother used to make it and feed it to the dog if the dog wasn't feeling well as all of the children. And this is actually another science-backed tip. There's like a cyanic compound in the garlic that is known to fight off impurities or bacteria. And it is also the same chemical that gives garlic its pungent aroma. So go figure, you can't really, it's tough to separate the aroma from the healing properties, so they go hand in hand. But that's something that I grew up with, was garlic soup, and it was made with milk. My family made it with milk, which was weird. But I will just crush some up and put it in like a chicken soup or a chicken noodle soup, and that tends to work really well. My friend's father swears by garlic. He also swears by tip number 10, and that is to get some fresh air if you are not feeling well, especially in these colder months. Colds and flus get passed around because everyone's all in the same enclosed space and the air is very stale, and germs are communicated more easily when everyone's all cooped up inside. So do yourself a favor and get out and get some air if you're not feeling well. It will help you immediately feel more revived and revitalized, as well as inhibit the spread of any other germs or bacteria if you are sharing your quarters with someone else. So those are my top 10 tips, remedies for feeling better from the cold or the flu or allergies. I hope these have been helpful. Let me know if you've tried any of them or if any of them work for you as well. And I hope that you're feeling better soon. As always, I thank you for watching, and I hope that you will keep watching. Bye.